Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Family Sedan channel. XRP has experienced a sell-off over the last couple days along with the rest of global crypto markets. Not exactly something I'm particularly concerned about, but I wanted to talk about it not for a couple of reasons, not the least of which is I think that some of the analysis from crypto media is really missing the mark on this, and so I just want to share my humble opinion with you, and maybe you'll agree with me, and if not, that's fine. Feel free to articulate your position in the comment section below. I do certainly appreciate diversity of thought, and I'm not always right about everything, certainly not a know-it-all, but I do think that crypto media is missing the mark a bit here. And if you look beyond that, though, I still, like, if you just look at on-chain metrics, which is, it's just data. It's worth being aware of. I mean, so look, there are a few things to consider when it comes to price action for crypto. You know, there's technical analysis, and there's on-chain analytics, and then there's also on-chain analytics, and then also fundamentals. And all of these things matter. Now, in terms of fundamentals, that seems to have the least in terms of price impact in crypto, which I think just proves that we're in a very immature market right now. But I think that that's going to grow and mature over time. Eventually, fundamentals will matter more. But, and technical analysis, so in terms of technical analysis, I do think that matters too, certainly. But, we're in such a weird macro environment that you can have these wild card events that just completely wreck analysis. Like what happened with FTX a month ago, for example, completely going bankrupt. How many people had FTX going bankrupt and, in a FTX Ponzi scheme on their bingo card at the beginning of 2022? Probably not very many people, right? But then in terms of on-chain analytics, again, it's just data. And if you compare on-chain analytics data to what has corresponded previously in terms of price action, you can actually draw some reasonable conclusions. The only thing that gives me pause is, yes, I think it makes sense to suppose things about the future based on that, but what about the fact that we're in a really weird time here where FTX just collapsed and a contagion could be spreading? Even so, there's actually some really good information from a historical perspective, so that's why I'm going to share all this with you. There's a reason I'm citing this at the outset of the video. So even though there's good metrics, if you look at some on-chain analysis from Sentiment, which I'll be highlighting in the video, yes, but is the crypto contagion going to spread? I don't pretend to know for sure. My bet is that yes, to some degree it is. I don't know to what degree that might negatively impact price action, although even if so, the prices don't stay suppressed forever. So even that wouldn't scare me. But there is an individual, and I don't agree with him on everything, but he's well known in the world of crypto, and he's one of the higher ups at a firm that has, I think it was $285 billion in assets under management. And he's thinking that the contagion's going to spread. I'm just saying. So we'll see what happens. But before sharing additional thoughts, I do want to be clear. I do not have a financial background of any kind. I am not offering financial advice. And you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos about crypto-related topics, but just as a hobby and just for fun. As I record this, XRP is at 35 cents, Bitcoin at $16,750. You got the market cap for the asset class, 817 billion, and Bitcoin dominance at 39.42%. Crypto fear and greed index at 26 out of 100. So a lot of samey stuff, despite the fact that we are a bit down over the last couple days, because Bitcoin did get up to about 18,300, and XRP was knocking on 40 cents door. But actually, before I forget, I want to highlight this too. I just keep checking this metric more than I normally do. It's the number of new XRP accounts created. And for those of you looking, I have the date range arbitrarily chosen going back to the beginning of May of this year. And you can see right here where I'm circling, for those of you looking at the screen, there's a massive spike when FTX went bust and people on their XRP and exchanges the world over like, yeah, this is the kick in the rear side. I needed to go ahead and self-custody. And even after the scare with Binance recently, and because there was a bank run on Binance, which did not result in it, halting withdrawals or anything of the sort, still, we had a massive increase here just within the last few days, and it's persisting. That's what's so fascinating. I've never seen anything like this, and the reason I've never seen anything like this before is because there's been nothing like this in the history of XRP. Yes, there's been big bursts in terms of new account, but that's during euphoria season. It's during alt season when prices going bonkers. XRP's mooning along with everything else, and then you see these big jumps, but in a bear market like this, nothing even close. This is uncharted territory here, which is why I always say, like, so history, doesn't literally repeat, but it kind of rhymes with itself. This is uncharted territory, though. And so there's this article from the Crypto Basic titled Main Reasons of Market Sell-Off as Bitcoin, Ethereum, and XRP Extend Losses. And they also had this article, XRP declines by 7% as updates on Ripple v SEC stall. So there are a couple reasons that they cited here, and I'm just going to have to respectfully disagree in terms of the rationale for the prices, why the price is doing what it's doing. As far as, other than what they say about Binance, they cite Binance in here, actually, without rereading the whole article, because I read this earlier today. I can't remember if they actually cited specifically that, that was one of the reasons that price was suppressed. It may have been a separate Daily Hodl article that I'm thinking of where they cited that as a concern. Actually, I think it was a Daily Hodl article, which I think it's in the tab that I've opened, so I'll get to it in a second. But setting that aside, and that'd be fair, actually. Like, that's, what happened, the news about Binance, even though it hasn't been catastrophic and hopefully won't be, because it looks like Binance, by all accounts, is solvent. That's fantastic. But it spooked markets, so that's fair. But then there was all this news about auditing firms, jumping out of crypto, and they're talking as if this is something that's caused the price action to go down. And the timing of the announcements doesn't line up, so I don't buy it for that reason. And frankly, like, there are tons of auditing firms that are happy to continue to audit crypto firms. Like, there's this firm, I still don't know how to say this. It's Mazars, M-A-Z-A-R-S. I've never heard it pronounced, so I'm not sure. Well, this firm, they were doing the auditing for Binance, and then they decided to go ahead and step back because they were concerned that the public would misunderstand what their audit actually meant, because it was an audit of proof of reserves, but they could only analyze the information that Binance gave them. Binance didn't give them all the information that would be necessary to give them the rubber stamp to state, yeah, here's our assurance that there's nothing remotely dangerous or bad or wrong, or however you want to word it, about Binance. Binance hasn't given that information, including their liabilities. They haven't given them to Mazars, and then they saw people responding. So Mazars like, yeah, we're just going to tap pause on working in the world of crypto right now. We're concerned about it harming the reputation of our firm, frankly. And so then there were a couple other firms, including BDO. There's at least rumors at a minimum that even BDO, major firm, is going to get out of the game too. That one was just a rumor, but it was from Reuters, so there's some sort of inside source allegedly that said, yeah, this is going to happen. So we'll see. I haven't seen the news officially break on that. But then you can look at the big four accounting firms, and they're still all in. I shared I shared links to them because people were saying it's just this mass exodus, effectively, of auditing firms getting out of crypto. Like, well, no. Look at the four largest auditing firms on the planet. You've got KPMG, you've got PricewaterhouseCoopers, you've got Ernst & Young, and Deloitte. All four of them, I put links on Twitter to their websites. They're still accepting clients. Those are the big four. And Deloitte is the firm that audits a publicly traded company, Coinbase, for example. So it's not that there's some sort of mass exit here. It's only a handful of firms, just a handful, that are like, yeah, we're going to tap pause on this for now. But there are all sorts of major firms that are still moving forward. It's just peculiar to me that Binance will not have one of the big four audit them. And so that kind of raises the question, why wouldn't they? Is it because Binance won't give the necessary information to to get the rubber stamp from one of the big four? I just can't understand why. And then you have CZ, like I was talking about in a video I think it was yesterday. CZ, when he was asked on national television on CNBC, he's like, why don't you just have one of the big four audit you? And then he gave this BS evasive answer where he basically said, well, a lot of firms actually don't know how to audit crypto. I'm like, oh my God. And again, that's why, like, today, having heard that answer, that was his go-to evasive answer, which is shady as far as I'm concerned. I don't know what the intent is. I'm not saying that means that, there's misappropriation of customer funds or that Binance is insolvent. I'm not saying that. I don't believe that, in fact. But why did he say that? Why would he give this evasive answer? And then it prompted me to share links to those four big firms. So I'm like, well, they're happy to take it. Like, what do you mean, CZ? I mean, if you looked into this, there's no way you don't know that they'd be happy to talk to any crypto firm here. Why aren't you getting the rubber stamp from them? And I still don't know. He wouldn't give that answer. And it's weird. It's just weird. I don't know what the reason is. I do not think that it's misappropriation of customer funds. There's no evidence for that. And I don't think that they're insolvent. There's no evidence. And in fact, on-chain metrics indicate that it's nothing like what happened with FTX, but still, I have to acknowledge this is really weird behavior from CZ. And this is the largest cryptocurrency exchange by volume on the entire freaking planet. So there's that. And then they also cited the SEC v. Ripple case. That they're citing that the case stalled. And I'm sitting here like, what are you talking about stalled? My gosh. We recently got the final briefs in the case, the replies to the motions for summary judgment from both sides. And the judge just has to make a determination now. Nothing is stalled. This is a mischaracterization of what's going on here. And this is why I wanted to take a few minutes just to be like, okay, I like the crypto basic, and people are allowed to, they're entitled to their opinions here. I just wanted to highlight, since I'm entitled to my opinion as well, I want to highlight that they're missing the mark on this so far as I can see. This has nothing to do with the price of XRP. In fact, XRP is just moving in tandem with broader crypto markets. I'm not seeing anything specific from this other than when we got positive news after the motion for summary judgment was filed. When was that? Was it the beginning of November? I can't remember now. I can't remember if it was like late October or early November, but it's been over a month. But when that motion for summary judgment was filed, we actually did see a lot of positive price action for XRP. It was hovering the 20-something cent range, if memory serves anyway, and then it jumped up to what? Over 50 cents? And then obviously there's eventually the FTX fiasco, and then it went back down. We're in the mid-30s now, but you get my point, right? So that had a positive impact, but in terms of anything to this point, I'm not seeing anything with the case have any sort of negative impact on that. And to the positive, though, despite what's been happening in recent times, these scary bad times, they always pass. And the people that pay attention now and they invest while everything's on sale when it's scary to invest, historically, those are the people that really do well when the markets turn around, which is an inevitability so far as I'm concerned. So you do whatever you want. My unprofessional opinion here, I'm not telling you to buy or sell or hold, but that's what I think makes sense. Historically, it has made sense. It's the same sentiment in the stock market. And what we're seeing now is indicators that look like what you'd expect to see at the bottom of a bear market. Look at this headline from the Daily Huddle. Is the crypto bottom in? Analytics firm Sentiment says one metric is flashing a historically bullish signal. Check this out. The leading crypto analytics firm Sentiment says one metric they track is signaling a bullish turn in the market based on historical performance. According to Sentiment, fear, uncertainty, and doubt are reaching peak levels as determined by the prevalence of negative crypto terms such as sell across several social media platforms. Using their social dominance methodology, Sentiment says the negativity in the crypto market is reaching a level that has usually signaled a bottom. And so, pause. I'm a big fan of Sentiment. I think they do really good work. I really do. I like them. I like Glassnode. There's a couple of my favorites when it comes to on-chain analytics. So totally fair what they said. But I just wanted to kind of say here, although I agree, and this is fair, and it's worth knowing this stuff for anybody that's in crypto, this is just useful data. It's just data. Even though this is true, I got to highlight again, I'd be remiss if I didn't note again, we're in uncharted territory to some degree here. You're like, what's happening with FTX? To what degree is the contagion going to spread? I mean, we've still got the situation with Genesis hanging over our heads. We know that they, by all accounts, so far as we know anyway, like they seem to be insolvent. That's why partners like Gemini, for example, halted their Earn program because their customers' funds went to Genesis and Genesis doesn't have the funds. So what, now that we know that's out there and there hasn't been a resolution, just because a month has passed, it's fine because a month has passed and nothing bad's going to happen? When's the other shoe going to drop? Because unless they actually somehow get bailed out and there's some sort of deal that's to be had and actually makes sense, okay, fine, I'm not holding my breath for that. If it happens, great. Happy to talk about it if it occurs. I'm not optimistic, which means at some point this is going to resolve to the negative. It's one or the other. It's one, and again, fine. If a deal great's fine. Deal to the positive, great. What do you listening think is most likely, though? I'm just saying these types of bailout situations when you got giant holes in the balance sheet, what exactly, if you're coming in, you're some sort of do-gooder flying in with a cape, what are you actually getting out of this, Anyway, piece continues. The negativity is largely driven by the FTX implosion and the arrest of its disgraced founder, Sam Bankman-Fried, as well as increasing questions about the financial stability of Binance. Yeah, see, there we go. It's the Daily Huddle article. That's what I thought. The world's largest crypto exchange, according to the analytics firm. And then cite Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell also continues to drive markets down with his hawkish policy. And here's a quote now. There is a whole lot of doom and gloom in crypto right now. Binance FUD, Jerome Powell hawkishness, and the ongoing Sam Bankman-Fried trial headline, many reasons why capitulation is prevalent to end the week. Historically, this uncertainty is a bottom signal, end quote from Sentiment. Exactly. So I don't know what else to tell you other than fine, there could be a wild card event and we go lower, or the contagion spreads, whatever. But so, like, unless you think crypto is going to cease to exist, what is the in terms of risk versus reward? If the markets do recover, and think about it in binary terms. Like, think about it like this: is the market going to go to zero or be worth way more in the future? What is your bet? Is it going to cease to exist seriously? Because if it doesn't cease to exist, it's not just going to hover around here. More people are going to jump in if there's something to it, and it would be worth way, 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 way more. That's why I think that when it comes to crypto, not all coins, but or actually maybe all coins, because even if they go to zero, still it's kind of like a binary bet. I certainly think it's a binary bet when it comes to XRP. So, I mean, given that's the case here, if it's going to be one or the other, even if we go down a percent, even from here, what the hell is it going to matter? Which is why my attitude is like, fine. That happens, back up the truck. I'm going to go on a shopping spree. That's what I'm saying. And then there was also this $726 million in Bitcoin bought by crypto whales in just 9 days, says analytics firm Sentiment. And here you go, more proof that the whales, and in general sense, I'd say they're smarter money than the typical lemming retail investor. They behave differently. They're buying at these levels. And so I'm sure they're aware as well, contagion could spread, things could get worse, but what the hell do they care? They'll just hold on and not sell at a loss. I'm telling you, these whales, they behave differently than the lemming retail speculators out there. I behave more like the whales do because I just don't do anything. I cannot be shaken out of this market. And I do mean that. If I'm wrong, I will ride this bitch to zero, and if I'm right, then it's going to be worth a fortune. But in the meantime, I'm just like, okay, whatever. I've held XRP for, over 5 years now. I've never sold a single XRP. It's been range bound for 5 years. It's been down to 11 cents. It's been up to $2 after the all-time high of close to $4, and that happened a little over a year and a half ago. And everything in between, I've just ridden everything. But it's just, 5 years sounds like a long time, but in the scheme of things, it's flash in the pan, man. Is XRP going to be here in a few decades? Well, I think that's probable. We'll see what happens. If it keeps getting adopted like this, yeah. So then what the hell is it going to matter that I had to hold on for 5 years in the meantime here? But check this out. Crypto analytics firm platform Sentiment is revealing that whales have accumulated Bitcoin worth hundreds of millions of dollars in under a fortnight. Sentiment says that relatively large holders of the flagship crypto asset have purchased approximately $726 million worth of Bitcoin in the last 9 days. According to Sentiment, 3 top 20 stablecoins by market cap are also experiencing high demand. Quote, Bitcoin's addresses holding between 100 to 10,000 Bitcoin have bought $726 million in Bitcoin the past 9 days. Meanwhile, stablecoin assets like USDT, BUSD, and DAI are also being bought quickly. This is a recipe for good things. Yeah, so I'd rather be on this side. I'd rather be in the market and patiently waiting. If we do get a drop, I'll buy more. And if we don't, I'll be happy because then it's worth more. My net worth goes back up. Whatever. I'll be happy either way. It's fine. And then there's this, and I don't really feel it necessary to read the article, but look at the headline. It kind of says it all. Top strategist at $285 billion asset management firm predicts more crypto shakeouts after FTX collapse. And they're talking about Scott Minerd, and not that I trust a lot of what this individual says necessarily, because I kind of get the sense that he says the opposite of what's going to happen, like in terms of, like if when crypto markets are low, I've seen him just keep saying stuff like, yeah, they're going to go lower. Like I saw that within the last couple of years on more than one occasion. And then when we were in peak euphoria mode, hey, it's just going to keep going higher. Scott Minerd says this type of stuff. I'm just like, I kind of roll my eyes. But in this case, and maybe he's being intellectually dishonest with all this because he's at a firm and he just wants to try and steer. I don't know. I don't know what's in the guy's heart and mind. But here, what's being stated regarding FTX, yeah, that's kind of alarming, don't y'all think? I'm just saying. It's not something that's going to keep me up at night. If price goes down, whatever. And then eventually it goes up. Just think back to 2008, during the 2008 financial collapse, and all the people that sold down there, and there goes your retirement. Because it went down and it was worth substantially less, and then you just got rid of it entirely, and then the market went back up. Tale's old as time, my friends. Which is, but you for that not to happen, like for markets not recover, if you're talking about the stocks, you'd have to literally, if you're talking about the stock markets in the United States, like NASDAQ and New York Stock Exchange, you'd literally be talking about the United States economy never recovering. Do you like? I don't know if the average person thinks about it like that, but it's true. If you're selling, you better believe, and you're like, you better believe it's never coming back, or else what the hell are you doing? Data shows that people that hold over the long haul are the ones that make the money. And so I think it's conceptually similar with crypto, even though I do believe there's more risk associated with investing in crypto for a lot of reasons. But in terms of the human psychology and thought process behind it, that's pretty samey. I'm not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because if anything I say are right, that would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the Moon Family Sedan.